North Carolina. I'm Representative Larry Hall, Democratic leader in the House of Representatives, and we have Democrats here who care about all North Carolinians and about the rights of all North Carolinians and about our Constitution. And I certainly have and take great exception to how we've just taken away the rights of North Carolinians and sanctioned state employees and their right to decide to make other people second-class citizens. I have some members of the caucus here who want to speak, but this is about Senate Bill 2 and about whether or not we can actually legislate second-class citizens now intentionally in North Carolina. Whether we can decide to have our state employees take an oath to serve all North Carolinians and then decide they will selectively provide that service and assistance. This is not what North Carolina is about. We're not just better than this, we're a whole lot better than this. And this process that happened today, legislation by ambush, and yes, we knew it was coming, and yes, they're within the rules if they do it that way. Just because you can does not mean you should. And the institution took a big hit today in the way this was done. Anyone have any other comments? Representative Glazer, Representative Fisher.
Thank you. We've been talking about the need for jobs and about economic security. And we in North Carolina know that jobs and economic viability just took a huge hit with the actions taken on the floor today. The folks who are in the courthouses, their jobs are secure. They will get their retirement benefits. They will get their health care. They will get the benefits that come with their job, even if they're not doing their job. Folks on the outside who are going to be continually discriminated against will have a harder time doing their jobs or getting to their jobs or doing the things that they need to have done because people have been given permission not to do their jobs. It is a sad day in North Carolina. And for a state that was supposed to be focusing on the well-being of all North Carolinians, it is a sad day. And I hope that we can, well, we know what's going to happen. This will go to court, just like so many of the bills that we've seen from the other side. And again, taxpayer money will be used to defend North Carolinians in this state against the bad legislation coming from the other side.
In a public debate on issues shows courage of conviction. Hiding behind procedural rules never does. We honored Dean Smith here yesterday. Good day that, because we did no honor to his legacy of equality today. You know, there was when a long time ago, there was a conservative columnist who I ended up becoming friends with named James Kilpatrick, who died a number of years ago. He used to be on the Point Counterpoint on 60 Minutes. And when DOMA came out in the federal law, he wrote columns, and he and I struck up a pen pal friendship over another case, but he wrote to me as well about that years ago. And what he said in an article was, if you want to preserve family values, how about fighting poverty? If you want to preserve family values, how about stopping domestic violence? And if you want to preserve family values, how about fighting child abuse? The gay couple down the street doesn't threaten my marriage or the institution of marriage. And he was right when he wrote that in the 1990s, and it remains right today. And sadly, we have now given license, unconstitutional license, to government officials to sanction a disparate treatment of our citizens based on their sexual orientation and a refusal to honor their constitutional right to marry. I close my comments because there's others who want to speak as well. Not only today did we violate the United States Constitution, but the points made by Representative Greer Martin and Representative Hall repeatedly over the last 2 weeks, we violate the state constitution. We not only get it wrong substantively, but we get it wrong procedurally. For days now, we have violated our own Rule 5, which requires that if we are to undertake unfinished business, we must vote each day. If we refuse to do that, as a majority of the House of Representatives, to go on a different order of business. For at least 5 days now, we have not done that, and we have violated patently Rule 5, which, by the way, was specifically put in the rules to prevent what we've been doing. We not only violate that, we violate Article 2, Section 22 of the Constitution of the state, which has already once been enjoined on the veto garage theory several years ago in the NCAE litigation. It will now again be left to the courts to enjoin both substantively and procedurally. What we have done today not only violates both constitutions, it violates the spirit of who we are as North Carolinians. I think, as all of the members here have said, it is a sad day for equal justice under the law in the state of North Carolina.
My name is Cecil Brockman from Gifford County. I just wanted to say and to remind everybody that what we're talking about is love, and that what we just did is to try to discriminate against it. And I just wanted to apologize to all of my colleagues here in the Democratic Party. We would like to apologize to all lesbian and gay couples because your love is not different than anybody else's love in this state. And we're sorry on behalf of the state of North Carolina.
All we've done today is injure the respect and accountability of our legislature and the respect our citizens will have going forward for the decisions and the processes used to make those decisions as we go forward. In a time of crisis of our government, we continue to go down this road where instead of doing what's best for the state of North Carolina, we continue to try to discriminate and go backwards as far as human rights in this state. This, again, is not what North Carolina is really about. And I hope that people, as they see us resolving to court to continue to have to defend the rights of our citizens because our legislature fails to do so and, in fact, impinges on those rights, hopefully our citizens will see North Carolina is better than this, and we cannot allow this continue to happen in our state. Take any questions.
If you're looking for a legal challenge, do you need to have somebody who is an aggrieved party first? Can you challenge this right away, or do we have to go down the road a ways until you see discrimination and then go forward from there? I mean, how do you proceed? What's next?
I think we'll already have agreed parties, so I think there will be sufficient standing out there. And again, the first instance where it happens, I believe, and I'll take anyone else's comments, Representative Michaud, the first time one of these letters is filed, first of all, I think it'll be challenged on constitutional grounds anyway and procedurally. But the first time one of these notices is given that I'm not going to do my duty in a courthouse, I think at that point certainly legal standing will attach, and suit can be brought by a community organization that would be affected, representing that population or the individual who subsequently applies for either the marriage license, because this allows the clerks of court and the magistrates and the registrars of deeds to discriminate. So in either one of those cases, I think standing will exist. And I'm sure that this will be addressed in the court. Yes, sir.
Just to make clear, your resolution on this issue would be that people who have a problem officiating to step down from their jobs or just carry out their oath.
My resolution on this, and again, don't forget what this bill really does, because it not only says people can give a continuing 6-month notice that I'm not going to do my sworn duty. It also allows us or provides that people who previously quit this job because they refused to do their duty can take the oath again and basically lie and say, I'm going to carry out the oath when I know I'm not. Then submit a statement saying, now that I've taken the oath and I've got the job back, I'm not going to carry it out and continue. And in addition, for the period of time after I resign, I still get my retirement benefit contributions as if I never left. So that's what the bill does. And it does it for folks in both the magistrate's office as well as the Register of Deeds office. And so the resolution, I think, should be, if you take the oath for the citizens of North Carolina, you should discharge that oath fully. I think it says you take it without reservation, and it says you will fully discharge it without favoritism. And I think that oath should have some meaning in North Carolina.
Represent.
Yes, ma'am.
I was just,
on Twitter already we're getting national attention for this vote that just happened. It's amazing how fast things go these days. What do you think, do you expect some backlash on a national level about this? Do you think the state's gonna get negative attention?
Right. We've already had a backlash from the business community saying, don't do this. We don't want to have major businesses and assets in the state of North Carolina if you're going to discriminate against your citizens. You're starting down a slippery slope that now says, no matter who you are, you cannot be assured that whether it's emergency services, police services, access to the courthouse, that you won't be denied if this trend were to continue across government services. So it should be a national attention. We're a national state. We've been one of the top states for people to come and create jobs and locate businesses. We've got one of the top university systems, et cetera. Everybody should be concerned about this, and there's no question the word should spread quickly.
Well, let me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. One of the things that you need to take a look at is how it's gonna spread. For instance, now that we have allowed people who've taken oath to uphold not only the North Carolina Constitution, but the United States Constitution, to give them a pass, so to speak, to make it happen, you know, for them to have a pass. What's gonna happen is, they're going to, people are just not gonna come here. For instance, let me give you a good example of something that really sort of an oxymoron on his face. Franklin Graham the other day decided that since, what's that? Wells Fargo used gay couples in their ads, that they were gonna pull all their business away and do another bank. Well, lo and behold, they, as I understand, they went to BB&T and used BB&T, and BB&T has been one of the biggest sponsors of a lesbian gay weekend in Miami, Florida. So now you got BB&T on the hook. Are they gonna stay with BB&T, or are they gonna start their own bank, which means they also have to start, you know, do the law? It's very, very simple, extremely simple. And this can be done without anybody being aggrieved. It's a constitutional issue, and any citizen can bring that action as right under the Constitution. Anybody who wanted to know that.
Yes, sir.
Representative Brockman, your reaction to, you know, what caused you to stand up in the House, and your reaction to what happened when you started to say what you were saying and got shut down?
Being a human being is what caused me to say it. I think anybody who feels any kind of compassion, you know, to their neighbor, you know, their community, would, you know, stand up and say something, because it doesn't make any sense. We live in 2015, and, you know, these people are people who fight and die in our country. You know, Representative Greer Martin eloquently said this on the floor the other day. These are the men and women who fight and die for us, and whose freedom we're now discriminating against as well. So I think it's also important to remember that as well. The men and women who fought and died for this country will be discriminated against.
And your reaction to being shut down and not being able to finish your statement?
I'm still going through that. I'm a freshman, so I'm not really used to a lot of stuff here. I don't know. I'm just surprised that, you know, I just couldn't get out, you know, just the simplest thing. It seemed like the apology, you know, so.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.